Welcome to Hands, Heart, and Hustle, where we talk about real growth in life, business, faith, and health. This is the show where we dig deep into the drive, purpose, and passion that fuel everyday people doing extraordinary things. I'm your host, Juan Briseño. Let's get into it. My guest today is Tim Manfro, a seasoned lender and trusted mortgage educator. Tim Manfro, known as Mortgage Manfro, is a driven owner of Mortgage Manfro, Inc. As a top loan officer nationwide since 2007, Tim is obsessed with the client experience, diligently upholding his business mantra: give, guide, and educate. A snowboard enthusiast and Mount Whitney summiteer, Tim blends his passion for the outdoors with his dedication to clients and partners alike. Hey Tim, so thank you so much, brother, for being here. I know we talked about it, and we're finally here. We're gonna talk about your journey and your line of work.
Dude, I remember we did our little Instagram live way back in the day. That was like the first little dip into this, and now you got this whole situation here. I mean, I love it, man. I love to see you just doing well.
Yeah, man. No, thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you as a friend and here especially, so we could talk about everything.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's journey and how we came about and evolved during the process.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about who is Tim Manfro.
Man, I know. You sent me these questions before, and I've been so busy I didn't even look at them, but I did glance and see that one. I would say Tim Manfro is someone that wants to inspire people to be better.
Okay.
To do better, to push the limits, to get out there and get after it, and just make it happen. So that's who I am.
Perfect. Where do you live? And you married? And
Yeah, man. I live in Laverne, California, Southern California. I grew up there. I've been there my whole life, basically. Moved away to Upland for a couple of years and bought a house 10 years ago in Laverne.
Okay.
Married to my amazing wife, Colleen, who is just so awesome. So blessed to have her in my life. And, I have two daughters, adult daughters, Taya and Sydney. And they're 26 and 27, and Taya just had her first baby, dude. So I'm
Awesome.
A grandfather, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So Brielle Desmond is our little 6-month-old shining star. So
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all exciting times and good stuff going on right now.
Awesome. She's in the line of work with you, right, as well?
Colleen, yeah, she works directly with me. She's my partner in business and in life, and I couldn't make all the stuff happen that we make happen without her just holding it down, making it happen behind the scenes. So
awesome, man. So what's your purpose in life?
I mean, I think that combines with what my, who is Tim Manfro. I mean, I've had a change in my life in the past 3 years. I just passed my 3-year sobriety birthday, or whatever you want to call it.
Congratulations.
And I mean, the trippy thing about that was I totally forgot that it was August 10th.
Oh.
It was August 13th, and I was doing something, and someone texted me, and they're like, "Hey man, happy 3-year sobriety birthday," or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I freaking forgot. My life is going so well, and I'm not focused on every day not drinking or doing any kind of drug, that it just went by and I didn't even notice it, which is such a trip and so amazing. But yeah, so I mean, basically my life shifted after I stopped doing any kind of drinking or drugs, and now I've realized that if I lead by example and get out there and just be a good person, push the limits and physically and business, and that just inspires people. And I've just seen so many other people go on a great journey that all started with conversations that we had, or they saw something I was doing, or I had a friend that was like, "Hey, I haven't drank in a year," and I had no idea, and they're like, "Yeah, you inspired me," and I'm just things are happening that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, that's my purpose, I believe, is just to inspire people to do and be better. So
right on. Does that motivate you to do well even more?
Yeah, totally. And I mean, being in the mortgage business, I'm a firm believer that home ownership is improving your situation. So I'm inspiring people to basically own a home, and start that legacy for their family, and start gaining wealth through equity and all the things that are tied to owning a home. So it just all fits together. This is a recent realization as well. So that's why I'm kind of excited about it. But
well, that paints a picture, right? Because just like your sobriety, you were going through a process and you got clean. Mm-hmm. It's the same process when being you want to go in through homeowners, right?
Yeah.
You have to clean up your credit to go into buying a home. So it's kind of like the same picture. If you really
do have to change a lot of things about the way you operate to be a homeowner for most people, at least. So Yeah, the transitions and transformations are the same. It's just a little different depending on which direction you're going. But it's been a cool journey, and I'm just like super excited for the future. So
you mentioned drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Is that an adversity you faced that had the biggest stronghold for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, my whole personality and lifestyle and really the way that I generated business was all from being a guy that like knew how to show people a good time.
Right.
And like back then, the way that I showed people a good time was by like having parties, going to parties, taking people places, drinking, like buying drinks, like doing all the things. And, that was like how I built these relationships. And come to find out, over the past 3 years that when you build relationships with those types of things, they're not really
authentic.
Solid,
Yeah.
because it's not really, it's all about that lifestyle and that type of fun. And, I wouldn't change anything, because it got me to where I'm at now.
Right.
But, I mean, it's just crazy how things shift when you go that direction. So.
And they changed the tax code too, because before it used to be a tax write-off, now it ain't, right?
Yeah, exactly. Another reason to quit drinking. Dude.
Exactly.
God, you could. The reasons are insane. So
yeah. All right, let's transition into your personal journey into the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
What got you into it?
So I came from a construction background, and I know you. So I always respected what you.
Oh yeah, I remember
respect
telling
what you do, and with the construction company that you own and run, and my dad owned a company that mowed lawns. It was big for what he was doing. He mowed all the Bob's Big Boys and a bunch of complexes and stuff. So I started mowing lawns. Eventually, he got into doing residential construction, and basically, I started kind of moving to like digging ditches and helping the guys that were laying cement and building block walls and things like that. And just that's freaking hard work. And eventually, like they were like, hey, help us with this, help us with that. Before you know it, you're laying block. Before you know it, they're giving you little pads to pour cement. Before you know it, you're laying brick, and before you know it, you're running your own little team.
Right.
So I got into doing that, and I really I enjoyed it because I like building things, and I was really meticulous about the size of the grout joints, and I love when something would work out where everything would drain the correct way or whatever it was.
Right.
But it really at the time was just it was hard. It's really hard on your body when you're doing the work. It's hard. I mean, you you've moved into a little management position, dude. I'm sure you're still getting out there, getting after it. But I was just like I lived in a 2-story house, and I was walking up the stairs every day and just feeling like my back and my knees. And I'm just like, man. And my really close friend, Nick Abadessa, got into real estate, and he was just doing killer, man. This is back in 2007, basically when a lot of people were doing well. It was before the crash, but he was doing specifically well, and he basically said, hey, man, like, you should try doing mortgages. People are making a lot of money. It's relatively easy because that was when all the state and income loans and stuff were happening. I'm like, hey, I'm not opposed to trying that out. I want to make a lot of money. That sounds good. So I went and interviewed. They would hire anyone. You didn't even need a mortgage license back then. They just
needed a heartbeat.
You just worked under like the license of the company. So they hired me, and I started working, and I was doing construction part-time, mortgages part-time. About 2 months, 1.5 months into it, the market officially crashed. So that was when I went into work, and they said the interest rates went up 2% in one day. All these lenders are out of business. And I'm like, cool. Like, I don't know, I don't have any deals. I don't have any like clients. I'm so brand new.
Yeah.
And so I just literally went back in the back room, and I listened to mortgage coaching on cassette tape, dude. Because that's what they had back there. And I just took notes and eventually transitioned to getting some leads from my friend that was doing well in real estate. And eventually just went on to kind of build a business around that. And, it took years to start getting it going, but once I did, it's been a really great business for us.
And you've been in business since 2007?
Yeah, 2007 is when I officially started doing loans, and been doing that ever since. So I did construction for about 1.5 years or so part-time just to pay the bills.
Right.
And, it was, I was lucky just to be able to make the transition, and I love it ever since, man.
Nice.
I enjoy it.
So what motivates you to keep going in business?
Man, I want to see how big I can get it, man. And I want to help more people, a mentor of mine basically says that, he wants to have a lot of fun, help a lot of people, and make a lot of money. And, for me, like, that's it, man. And I want to throw that money part in there, man. Money isn't a bad thing if you use it for the right stuff. So, but I do want to help a lot of people have a lot of fun and make a lot of money. That's what motivates me to keep it going.
Right. So what's one of the hardest lessons that you learned being in business?
Hardest lesson?
Or lessons.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple really, but like, I would say the hard one is, oh man, what would be a good, I think maybe not shifting to building like, legit relationships ahead of like years before I did what I did with stopping drinking. Like, I just felt like I kept building a relationship and then it would crash, like because someone else would come along and be partying better or offering better
better drugs,
so I just never
bigger
really,
beers.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, better country clubs or
Yeah.
clubs or whatever it was, right? But you know, I feel like I just kept like kind of stagnant for a lot of years, even though I was doing well. I wasn't really growing as like a person or something. So I think like I wish I would have got to that point sooner. Would be something that you know, I wish I could have changed. Yeah, I mean, life lessons as well. That'd be the biggest one. Just really wishing I could have like shifted that gear sooner.
Was there a time that you wanted to quit?
Man, I'm not a quitter. I remember specifically when I first got in the business and there was a lot of people making a lot of money, and I wasn't.
Right.
And my friend specifically said, well, if you haven't started making a lot of money by now, then it's never going to happen for you. And I remember thinking like, is he right? You know? And I remember like one specific time just being like going into tears, dude. Like, and I don't cry. Like I've cried like 3 times in the last like 20 years probably, but that specific time, tears came down my face because I was like, man, and I'm like, no, I could do this, man.
Yeah.
You know, and like I basically said I could make this happen, and I just stayed with it. And it's just like the mentality back from sports and stuff. I was never the most talented individual, but I always did really well at whatever sport I tried because I was willing to try harder than anyone else, you know.
Right.
And I just keep bringing that same passion into like what I do now. So
what's one practice that you did to change your business that actually changed your business?
I think a morning routine, dude.
Morning?
Sounds crazy, but I think having a solid morning routine that I do on a daily basis to get my morning started the right way has been one of the biggest game changers in my life. You know, getting up in the morning and then basically what I do is I want to read, I want to journal, I want to basically write what I'm thankful for, you know, and just doing those little things in the morning basically just sets me up for success. I review my goals. I have like my goals for the year. I'll look at those. So for me, morning routine just seems like when I started doing that is when I really saw like a lot of growth as a person, and then the business followed because it's all connected.
Right.
You know?
Right. It is.
Yeah.
How long ago did you start doing that?
It's like 3 years ago.
Oh, so
right? When I transformed, everything kind of shifted. I remember, you know, basically I was deciding I wanted to do something different. I knew I wasn't going to drink or do drugs anymore, but I didn't really know like what that meant. So I went to like a networking thing and I saw this guy speak about building these communities or events that basically would generate new connections. So I decided I was going to basically start mountain biking with a group of people. I wanted to advertise this ride I was going to do. I knew that there was people at this real estate office that rode mountain bikes. So I decided I was going to go to this this real estate office and go to their office meeting. So go to the office meeting. I invite a couple people to mountain bike. They end up letting me stick around for the you know the broker of the office to speak, and he gets up there. And during that time, I had decided that from that time till the end of the year, I was going to say yes to everything.
Oh wow!
As long as it wasn't unethical or you know against like or illegal, like I pretty much was going to say yes.
Yes.
So just to get me basically out there making more connections. So this guy stands up in front of the whole group and he says, you won't say yes to this. And I'm like, crap. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't know what's going to come, but I'm like, I got to say yes to this. Man.
Right.
And I felt like he was looking right at me, man. There was like maybe about 50 people in the room. And he's like, we're doing this morning call at 5 a.m. And at the time I wasn't a morning person. I didn't get up early. And he's like, you know, we're inviting anyone to basically participate in that call. And I stood up and said, I'm in. And he looked at me like, what? And then like, he kind of was like, whatever. I know him a little bit. And then I text him and I'm like, hey man, I need the link for that call.
Yeah.
And he's like, he didn't respond. Then I like text him again. I'm like, hey dude, like I'm for real, want to do this, you know?
So you held him accountable.
That next day, like that he sent me the code, and that next day I logged on, and he walked us through like his whole morning routine, and it's only for 15 minutes, you know, just to get your whole routine started. And he's like, yeah, you need to read for 30 minutes a day. And I was like, I wasn't a big reader at the time. And it was right around my birthday when I was starting to do this, and I got in the mail a box from Amazon, and it was Atomic Habits, the book.
Oh yeah, that's a good book.
And basically, it was my old coach from like 5 years prior that I hadn't talked to in forever. And he said, hey man, there's a card that said, yeah, I was thinking of you, and I think this book reminds me of you, and I think you'd really like it. And he's really religious, dude. Like I know him, like, and you know, and he said when I talked to him later that
you never had that conversation about reading?
No.
Wow.
He just knew it, dude. And he said like God told him, dude, like, or he heard that voice or something, which gives me freaking like, yeah, it's like crazy. But he just for some reason decided like to send me that book, like out of the blue.
That's good.
And I got the book and I started reading it for the morning routine. And that's a really great book for anyone that's really trying to change their lives, because it's all about making small incremental changes in your life that basically will equal a big atomic change. You know, and that just, dude, that moment was when my life completely shifted.
Yeah, because you realize that there was a calling on you to change your life.
Yeah, but I didn't even know, man. Like honestly, like I was like,
it just kind of like happened, right? The doors were opening.
Yeah, like I just was rolling along with it. I mean, I'm like, my wife calls me a caveman, dude. I don't like question things too much, you know. Like if things pop up in front of me, I'm just like, okay, like. But looking back now, I'm like, man, that was like really crazy. That just like 2 days before I knew I needed to read, and then a book shows up in the mail from a guy I hadn't talked to in 5 years. Like,
yeah, that's
weird.
That's
you know,
weird.
You know.
How do you keep your mindset strong during slow or tough times?
I think surround yourself with like really people who are really pushing it. You know, I have a group. It's really crazy when you consistently operate at a high level and you basically are doing things a certain way, you somehow or another attract people that have the same goals and mindset. So if I'm having a bad day, I know, you know, or let's say if I'm not motivated to do something, I know that the crew that I'm running with is they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're not going to like, if they're on it, that makes me want to be on it too.
Right.
And you know that whole cheesy like you are who you hang out with and stuff. I used to think that was stupid, but it's so
true.
It's so true, man. It is so true.
And the law of attraction also.
Yeah.
You attract what you are.
Yeah, exactly. So now I've just all these people in my life now that don't, you know, a lot of them. I don't care if people drink.
Right.
I'm not like whatever. I'll be your friend. Like you know what I mean. Like if you do. But I mean, it's weird that a lot of the people that are doing the things that I'm doing, they don't drink. They've had similar journeys where they did and they don't now. All their lives are on track to be doing better than they were before. I mean, you know, I went to, I mean, it's just, I think that's really the key for me is just being surrounded by people who are consistently pushing it, you know, and trying to be better and whatever job they have or life they have. So
that's good. So you touched on habits and you touched on changing your life. So what habits have you learned that have actually changed your business and your life? Like what's one habit other than waking up early and journaling? Like what's one thing that other than that?
I think what you invest in yourself, you will, if you have to invest in yourself, that's a habit for me, like that I didn't do before. The more I learn, the more I earn. I mean, just plain and simple, man. And, you know, I just feel a habit of like improving yourself every day if you can, or as much as possible every day, creates this like momentum that really just touches all aspects of your life. Like I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my whole entire life. I'm earning more money than I've ever earned in my whole entire life. I have more like solid relationships than I've ever had in my whole entire life. And it's like, why? It's because every day I'm getting after it, you know, and I'm pushing and I'm improving, you know, and I've noticed that big time.
Yeah, you almost have to be selfish. It's like you got to put yourself truly first.
Dude, they jokingly say when that whole thing with the plane with the mask falling, you got to put your mask on first.
Exactly the same.
It's like, it's so true because, you know, obviously you love your family and your kids, dude, and I do too, and everyone does, you know, but if you don't take care of yourself first, dude, what good are you to them, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, mentally, physically, monetarily, all that stuff, man. You got to think of yourself first. So,
And people have this false belief about that. You know, it's like being selfish, and they make you want to feel guilty about it.
yeah.
But it's just like you said, you work on yourself, and you're better for the world, and it helps you so much. Because I was, similar transition to you. It's like I went through a transition where I just focused on myself, my mind, my body, and this body is it's not even ours. It's just a vessel that we're living in. But it's about taking care of it so you can be able to perform better in your work.
Totally. And life. I mean, so it's pretty crazy how that all works.
What mindset shift do entrepreneurs need to do in order for them to succeed? That you think that's important?
I think that the shift that an entrepreneur needs to make to succeed would be that collaboration can like lift everyone up. I think like sometimes we feel like we're out on an island trying to like make it happen, and like we want to like keep our business secrets so close. And I don't think I just see like the people that are the most successful that in my life are people that, or even that I see out in the world, are people that are just giving information away for free.
Yeah.
Sharing their secrets. They're, how willing to stop and help other competitors like figure stuff out. And it seems counterintuitive that you'd want to help someone that's in the same industry as you, but one way or another, for some reason, the universe, the world, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, seems to reward those people that do that stuff, man. And that's why, like, in my, I'll meet with another loan officer, and if they want to meet with me, I'll freaking lay it out for them, man, because there's no one that can replicate me. Like, I could tell them all the stuff I'm doing, but they're not me, you know?
Right.
And you know what? Sometimes they tell me the stuff they're doing, and I take something that they said, even though maybe that they are either at a higher or lower level, whatever it is, like of production or whatever you want to call it, and then I make it my own. And it's an idea from them, but it's still me, and it's different, So I'm giving away, and I'm also getting back from them. So I think collaboration is a shift that really more people should think about, because it seems like all the most successful entrepreneurs I know are willing to collaborate, and like even in the same similar industry.
Yeah. Even just leveraging the relationships is important.
Yeah. You never know.
For me, that for a while it was hard to leverage that. Because you're absolutely right. It's like, oh, how am I going to give this information? They're going to be more successful than me. It's like, I'm not. So,
it's coming from a place of, you got to come from a place of abundance. The abundance mindset, when it's like, there's more than enough for everyone. Dude,
exactly. Yeah. Because if you're stuck on that scarcity mindset, it's not going to work.
Nope.
So how do you take risks in business, and how do you deal with it?
I think risk for me, like, is, putting money out to improve my situation, really, like as a, like I'm going to go to Tony Robbins, and it's like a $3,300 investment, for 4 days. And that's a big investment, that's a risk to just throw that money out. But I know, like, if I invest that money, then I'm going to take it seriously, and I'm going to make sure that I, get the most out of it. Right. And like, I just hired a business coach, same thing. It's a monthly occurrence. Like, so there's not a lot of ways to like be risky in the mortgage world, like at least at the size that I'm at. Like, there's probably like bigger fish that could risk this, that, the other. But for me, it's like more of a monetarily risk investment in myself. Like, you never want to write that $3,300 check, but you never regret that you did if you go there and take it serious, dude. So
is that the one in October?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that at the airport.
Yeah.
It's what, 2 months from now?
Yeah, it's coming up. So
nice.
My buddy hit me up, and we're like, we're doing diamond seating. We're gonna do the whole thing. So
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about going too, because I haven't been to one of his events, but
I've never been.
I heard they're good.
I just know people say he changed their lives. Crazy. I heard he's from Glendora, California, which is
he is.
How is that? Like, that's so crazy. Like, he went to high school with Marty Rodriguez or something, which is like
he's
that crazy real estate lady, the uber successful. So that's just wild.
Yeah, even Ed Milet, he was from Diamond Bar.
Yeah.
So now he's up in Florida.
Uh-huh.
So those are big names and big wigs.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So let's pivot into your health journey.
Yeah.
Why is staying healthy important to you?
If your body is not operating, well, multiple reasons, and this is maybe to come with some criticism from people, but when you're in great shape, the appearance on the outside, it just breeds all kinds of like confidence in yourself. But then also too, it breeds like opportunities because other people understand the type of work it takes to be in shape.
Yeah.
And I feel like people take me more serious now that I'm in better shape. And it sounds crazy, but it just is. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because they know, like, they also see me on Instagram getting up every morning, working out. I mean, you've had a crazy transformation yourself, and I see you, and you inspire me because you're up earlier than I am. I'm like, no one gets up earlier than me, but you do.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, I just feel like they take you more seriously, and you know, we're hiring my son-in-law is going to come work for us, and he's not in bad shape, you know, but
Right.
he's not in shape.
Great shape, yeah.
And I told him straight up, I said, dude, like when we hire you, you're going to have to get in shape, like real shape.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I'm like, I don't mean go do 75 hard and don't eat any food and, you know, but I mean, it's going to be a progression of like, we got to get you in shape because I need you to be looking good, feeling good, operating at the highest level. So,
yeah, I think for those programs, it's a starter,
mm-hmm.
but it sets you to a goal of that 75.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, people fall back.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, so it helps if you're disciplined because it's going to start getting into a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
a habitual state where you can actually continue. And if you're disciplined, and then, you know, you could just keep going. For me, yeah, it's been about 1.5 years where I just made that transformation, going on 2 years now. So it does help me a lot.
I mean, I want to do infinity hard, dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
as many
exactly.
days as I got left, I want to go hard.
It's just
You
a
know what I mean?
lifestyle. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So the health has been just a huge benefit to get in great shape.
So what inspired you to start and just continue it?
Well, so a few things. So first off, my dad had a heart situation and he almost died. And, you know, I was very, very overweight and, you know, not taking good care of myself before I had gotten on a path of not drinking or doing any kind of drugs. And Colleen had said, you got to go get your blood tested because I'm worried about you because your dad had a heart attack. And we went and got my blood tested and they said, like, you're going to die. Like, you're not, your health is for how old you were at the time. They're like, man, you're heading for a heart attack. You're heading for this. You're heading for that. And I mean, that was kind of the catalyst of like getting, because I'm all or nothing. So when I decided I was going to put the switch on, then I'm like, well, I'm going to get in like crazy good shape because I can't do anything halfway. If I'm going to party, I'm going to party all night long. If I'm going to work out, I'm going to work out all the time. But that was a catalyst. And then also too, like I love being outdoors and I love mountain biking. I love snowboarding. I love hiking. And there was a moment about 4 years ago that I went backpacking with a friend who he parties, but he's in really, really crazy good shape. He's just completely shredded and jacked and like he could run forever and all that stuff. And he's like, and at the time when we were backpacking, I was probably weighed about 260. And I weigh like about 210 now. And he said, dude, everything you like to do requires you to be in excellent shape. And he's like, it's unbelievable the level that you can actually operate like on a mountain bike and on a snowboard in the shape that you're in. It doesn't even make sense. But he's like, imagine if you were in shape, like how much more fun you could have. And at the time I didn't think about it much. I was like, you're stupid, you know, whatever, because I was still in that zone. But then looking back, that actually was a turning point because then I'm like, I want to be able to snowboard and mountain bike for the rest of my life, you know, at a high level. So shifting gears and getting into shape is now maybe be able to even enjoy that stuff even more, you know. I mean, I'm riding at a higher level than I ever have, you know.
Yeah, because you like all that extreme sports,
yeah,
right?
I love it. Yeah,
I see your stories where you're out mountain biking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that looks fun.
It's cool.
Fun and dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yeah, let me tell you. Took some serious crashes, but the whole extreme sports thing for me, it's the only time where I'm 100% focused on whatever's in front of me. Because when you're going, you know, 60 miles an hour on a snowboard down a hill, or you're riding 35 miles an hour on a mountain bike down a rocky mountain, like you're only focusing on the things that your brain needs to focus on to not die.
Yeah.
And to go full speed and have fun. And for me, that's like a reset that I can get from my brain on a regular basis where I just basically somehow like wipe the slate clean because our brains are just, I mean, it's hard for me to focus on anything for too long. You know, I'm getting better, but when you're doing that, you focus only on that. And then after I feel like I can, like, my brain's cleared for a little bit, and then I can just start like moving to the front, the important things for the day.
And as entrepreneurs, we need that.
Yeah.
We need that clear mind to be able to think about something else, because otherwise we'll fall back into those vices.
The bad cycles, yeah. Now I'm addicted to working out and hiking and mountain biking and all that. And when I was addicted to other stuff before. So
So what was the hardest part about starting, and how did you push through it?
Starting
your fitness journey.
I mean, probably just my body was so weak in certain areas that it was just painful to do everything. You know, my core strength had dropped to almost nothing. I had strong legs because I was doing snowboarding and mountain biking, but my core was so weak that my back was weak. And you know, when I started getting out there and getting after it, I was really sore all the time, and it hurt to do everything. And now I've gotten into more flexibility training, Pilates, things like that have made me feel better. So even after having a hard workout and stuff, so probably just like this being very extremely sore and wanting to quit was probably like the hardest thing to push through.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you just find motivation just to keep going? And
yeah, I want to get better, man. I want to be in better shape. I want to be better on my mountain bike. I want to jump bigger jumps. I want to ride my snowboard faster. I want to hike bigger mountains, you know, all that stuff, you know, so.
Yeah, right on. So how do you balance that? I know you say you wake up early. How do you balance it with work, business, or in family?
I try to time block. I'm trying to be really good at time blocking. It's very difficult. I get off track pretty easy, but I'm working on doing that. It's part of what my business coach has been helping me with. But if I don't wake up early, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Like I can't fit all the stuff I want to do in the day because, you know, my fitness routine is probably I have to commit about 2 to 3 hours a day, you know, total. Like,
and you feel off, right, when you don't do it.
Oh, you can't not do it.
Yeah.
Like, it just ruins my day. Like, I didn't work out today, and I mean, I feel pretty good because I worked out a lot of the days in a row, but still, my whole day has been a little off, but I needed a little down day. But, I think just waking up early and just getting that part out of the way and then having the rest of the day to like tackle all the important stuff. And I think just like tackling the most important things first is what I'm trying to do. So that way the other stuff, if I don't get it done, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Saving the most important thing for the end of the day is like the dumbest thing that I do because if something comes up that's unexpected, then the important stuff doesn't get done.
Yeah, and it's really like if you don't put time for yourself, set it aside in the early morning. Yeah. It's gonna take. Oh, it's not gonna work later.
It ain't happening. Yeah, if you don't make it to the gym in the morning, it's pretty unlikely, especially with your, having kids and stuff. I mean, I don't have kids at home anymore, but I want to hang out with my wife, so.
But the cool part about it is my daughters. I have my 2 daughters that live with me. They see me. Yeah. And they want to go on that health journey now. Yeah. So I have my 2 girls. My youngest is the one that actually goes to the gym with me.
No way. Yeah. That's so cool.
She'll get up. She'll get mad when I don't wake her up.
They see everything, dude. And whether you believe it or not, man, they're watching. Yeah. Every good and bad thing you're doing.
Exactly. It's good or bad. They're always watching. And she gets mad at me, wake me up. So now it's like I go in there before I get dressed. I go in there and I wake her up and we go to the gym. That's who on my stories you've seen her in the background. That's my daughter. That's my youngest. Cool, so let's transition into your line of work. Okay. On the credit side. Yeah. So how important is the credit when you're buying a home?
I mean, everything's important as each other because you have to have them all to basically make it happen. But credit is something that could open doors in a big way for you for opportunities for different loan programs and things like that. It's always an uphill battle if your credit's bad. Right. I mean, we can make it happen and there's ways to get your credit better. But, if you have a solid credit score, you're just going to have such an upper hand on people that don't. And it's just going to make it that much easier, that much more affordable. There's programs that are available for people that have good credit. So I would say credit is up there, man. Even though they're all equally important, it's at the top because it's just an uphill battle if you don't have good credit.
Right. What's one simple thing that people can do to actually bring their score higher?
So, people all the time, they say, well, I pay my credit cards off monthly, or I pay my on-time payments. And the way that credit cards work is they're one of the biggest effectors of credit other than like missing a payment. right? So your score is affected by your effective use of the percentage of your limit. So if you have a $5,000 limit and your balance is $499,000 or $4,999, then you're basically right below that limit, and your credit score is going to take a major ding from that limit or that balance being close to the limit. So even if you pay your cards off monthly, you want to make sure you prepay them before they report the balance to the credit bureaus. So if you just pay your monthly payment in full, then the balance that's on your actual statement is the balance that's reported to the credit agencies. So if you get a bill for $9,000 every month and your limit's $10,000, you pay $9,000 and you think you're gravy. They're reporting $9,000 every month as your balance, and it doesn't even look like you're paying it off. It just looks like the same balance over and over again if you charge it back up. Oh. So if you figure out when they're going to report to the agencies, because they report once a month, and you pay the bill before then you'll basically, whatever the balance is at that time is what's going to report to the agencies, which is going to give you the best possible opportunity for a good score. So usually if you just look at the statement date and you pay the bill, the balance like 1 week before, then that's the balance will be adjusted soon enough for them to report it to the agencies. And that's one way, a tricky way to get your credit score up. Another way is authorized user accounts. So for people who don't have great credit or don't have much credit, credit card companies allow you to be added as an authorized user. What that means is that you're just going to be tied to that credit card. You're not going to be financially responsible for it, but it is going to report to your credit agencies as your card. So like if you as yourself has great credit history on a credit card and your daughter is 18, you can actually add them as an authorized user on your card, and that you could have had that credit card for 20 years, right? It's going to report 20 years of credit history for someone who's 18 years old.
Really?
Right? Because it gives them the whole credit history for it. So, we have people come in that, they pay everything cash, or they used to have a car payment, but they paid it off or whatever. Then, we have them add as authorized users, and that usually bumps the score up. You want to make sure it's a credit card that's been around for a long time, has a low balance relative to the limit, and it has no negative credit history. And if you get added on those, it'll help you. And you can add anyone. It doesn't have to be family.
And that's a common option for the credit cards?
That can happen on any credit card.
Wow.
And they don't have to run your credit, and it doesn't affect your interest rate as the credit card holder as well. Even if someone had bad credit and you added them as an authorized user, it wouldn't affect the interest rate. And then you could just cut the card up that they send them, and they never have to use it. You can continue using your card. So it's not like they have
to. As a primary user, I could use my card and they don't have to touch it.
They don't have to touch it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you cut it up. So that's a good one. That's like probably one of the most solid ways to boost your credit score. Relatively easy.
So when these home buyers come to you, do you set them on a plan, or are they already in that stages where they're ready to buy?
Yeah, it really depends on where they're at. I mean, we do our best to basically help everyone achieve home ownership if possible, if they want it, right? So when they come in, even if they have a 500 or 400 credit score, which is too low to get a mortgage, we're going to basically tell them, hey, this is what you need to do to get in a better position. And it's like 1 out of like 500 actually do the work, Yeah. But those people that do the work, it may take, I had one that took 6 years for them to basically get their credit score to where it was, but they bought a house.
Wow.
And they kept checking in with us and saying, hey, what should I do with this? What should I do with that? And they started small and worked their way up, and they were able to basically make it happen. It's just they got to put the work in, and everyone wants it now. But
be disciplined, right?
Yeah, and life lesson right there. So, but
what's one of the biggest cheat codes that you know for paying off debt to get to that stage?
I don't know. You got to pay the debt.
Yeah.
I think if you could raise your credit score fast by paying off the smaller debt first. That's one way to do it. I think a common misconception is that if you pay a car off, it'll raise your credit score, but it actually doesn't. It actually will hurt your credit score when you basically pay off a car, because you're closing an account that had positive credit history. So, pay off credit cards first, because those usually have the highest interest rates. A lot of times people think paying off student loans, you can just leave those, let those be. I'd focus on paying the credit cards off first, get those knocked out, and then if you need to basically pay off debt to qualify for a mortgage, I would pay the debt off in the transaction, because you can do that and not pay off the debt ahead of time and then have it reflect negatively on your score, like if you pay a car off or something. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Dave Ramsey?
Yeah.
He has a good snowball effect. Right?
Yeah. See, I don't know the whole, but I've heard of that before,
Yeah,
right?
that one's a good. I did that maybe a few years ago before I
Yeah.
bought my house.
Yeah.
I did the whole snowball effect. That
Yeah.
It worked out pretty good.
Yeah. So what is it? How's it break down? You pay.
So you find the lowest credit cards. Let's
Yeah.
say I have 5 credit cards.
Mhm.
I find the lowest. Normally what happens is people pay more than they need to on the minimum, right?
Mhm.
They have a $20 minimum. They'll give 40 on all across the board. But what he does is he allows you to grab all those extra payments that you were giving and apply it to the lowest.
Mhm.
And when you start getting it, you start paying it off and don't save that money, apply it to the next card. And what it does, it creates, being you're a snowboarder, it creates a snowball effect.
Mhm.
And that's what it's
And
called.
eventually it's gone, huh?
Yeah, now it's going downhill and it's getting bigger and bigger. By the end of that, you got this big payment and you pay off credit cards sooner.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what have you seen where people borrow more than they can actually handle?
We've been pretty lucky. They do track default rates for mortgage loan officers for most types of loans. And the only house that I know of that defaulted was someone passed away, and they couldn't pay the payment after that. And it's unfortunate, and that kind of thing happens. There's no way to plan for it. But we've been lucky enough to, most of the people that we've had have been able to pay their payments. And if they haven't, they've been able to sell their house and move on. Divorces happen, things like that, where they can't continue to keep the house. But we haven't had any straight up just defaults where they weren't paying their payment and the house got foreclosed. And I've been doing it for a long time. So that I know of. So
what do you do in that situation where you know that they can't afford it? Do you work ethical and try to talk to them, or you just...
That's their decision, man. We can pre-approve them for what I have a conversation up front with them and I ask them what they're comfortable paying per month, right? And because that's different usually than what their maximum payment is. A lot of times what they can qualify for in most circumstances is higher than what they could actually, what they're actually comfortable paying. So I have the conversation up front. I say, what's the maximum payment that you're comfortable paying per month for your mortgage with taxes, insurance, principal, and interest, and HOA if there is one? They give me the payment. Then we show them their maximum approved price, and we show them the price that the payments line up with, and they got to make that decision.
Right.
I mean, you can't tell someone that they can't afford something, because I've seen situations where I'm like, I don't understand how they're going to pay this payment, and then they're dandy. They're good to go.
Yeah.
So we just give them.
You can't judge, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's different. Some people, they could shift the switch and just stop buying extra stuff and make it all work,
Right.
So the guidelines for qualifying for a mortgage are there for a reason, and they restrict you from over spending, and I've seen it work time and time again.
Awesome. So let's talk about some loans.
Yeah.
Your favorite subject.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you agree that California has increased mortgage or house pricing?
I think it's just a relative, depending on where you live. House prices statewide have gone up for sure. Some areas are more than others. And I think it's really more of an inventory thing other than the state being involved. Right now what's happening is that interest rates were so low that so many people took advantage of those interest rates, and now they're almost locked into a property, because if they were to sell and buy, their interest rate would almost double.
Right.
Which means that most likely they're going to be buying a more expensive house that has a bigger mortgage that has a double interest rate, which means the payment's going to substantially jump. Where in a normal market, if the rates were similar to what you already had, maybe you're getting a bigger mortgage and the payment goes up some,
right,
but it's not this massive jump. So people are just staying put in their properties longer than they normally would, which means that there's less houses for sale, which means when there's less houses for sale, there's less opportunity for buyers. And then, sometimes if it's an area that is desirable, there's still people that want to move there, and then there's multiple people bidding on the same house, which makes, this house used to be 800, now there's 10 people trying to buy it, and this guy bid 850, and now all of a sudden that house is worth 850 when it closes, because everything is based on a comparable sale. So the price of houses just stack when there's a lack of inventory, because people still need to buy houses. If you bought a house that's 2-bedroom and you have 5 kids now, you're going to figure out how to buy another house that has bigger bedrooms, and you may be up in an area where you got to bid over and above what you'd be comfortable paying for the house or what it's worth, and then all of a sudden that house is now worth X.
Right.
And then that happens over and over again in a neighborhood, and before you know it, prices go up, you know?
Right.
So, but I don't believe they will plummet in like super desirable areas like Laverne and Claremont, and we may see them drop. Where we are seeing them drop in some areas is the places that have a lot of houses for sale. So I do a lot of business up in like Crestline and the Lake Arrowhead area, and there's a lot of places for sale up there right now, and we're seeing the prices of that in that area, drop a little bit. So
got it. Well, is that because of the Airbnbs are restricting?
Yeah, I think a lot of people bought Airbnbs up there when the mortgage rates were so low. It all made sense, and now there's so many of them up there that people are just trying to dump them, and we're seeing houses sell for cheap. It's a really great opportunity for people that want to live in that area, though. I mean, we're seeing a lot of people that are moving up to Crestline area that are working in those like in the areas below Crestline. It's not that bad of a drive. It doesn't snow all that often. And we're seeing nice houses for $300 and something grand.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like
I have to talk to you about after this.
Yeah, let's do it. For either to live in or like a second home or something. So yeah.
So being that we have a young generation coming up, what's your advice for them to start saving for them to go into a house?
I would say focus on putting a little, if you're paying rent, try to save a little bit over and above the rent just so you can get used to paying a higher mortgage payment. Just put that aside. I mean, you only need 3%. I mean, even if you're not doing down payment assistance, you can buy a house with basically $3,000 for every $100,000. So, I mean, if you can put away some money and get used to paying a higher payment, then that's going to set you up for a good opportunity. So, and don't focus on trying to buy your dream house, the first house. The way that most people are putting big down payments on houses is by selling other real estate.
Yeah.
And over time, real estate is going to go up. I just did a calculation for a lady that was looking into a reverse mortgage for a condo in, it's like a big condo in Upland, California. And the list price of the house was around $750,000. And for those that don't know, a reverse mortgage basically is for people of a certain age. They can get a mortgage, and if they have enough down payment, they don't have to have a mortgage payment per month, and the mortgage balance just goes up every month. Right? And it's just for people who don't really care about having a lot of equity when they pass away. They just want to have a lifestyle where they don't have a mortgage payment because they're on a fixed income or whatever. They're just for a certain situation. But this lady had asked me, can you run a scenario and tell me what the mortgage balance would be in 15 years and what the price of the house would be in 15 years?
Right.
And we could look back in history and see what the appreciation, that's when real estate is increasing in value. That's what appreciation is. We could look at the historical appreciation and guess in 15 years what it's going to be. And so this house for $785,000 in 15 years, guess what the forecast for appreciation was by then? What the price of the house would be?
300?
No. So the price would be 1.15.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So it would go from in 15 years. If it goes up at 3.3% a year, which is the average,
Okay.
the value of the house would be over 1.1 million. Wow. So I mean, like, you just look at that right there, and if you're a younger generation, now that's maybe an extreme example, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you buy a house for $350 and then you stay there for 15 years, and then now it's $700 or something in the future, and you got $350 for a down payment for the next one, or you stay there for 5 years or whatever it is, right?
Right.
But I would say just buy a house that you can afford, that works for you, where you work wise and stuff like that, and just wait.
Right.
And then the next one could be the better house that you maybe live there for longer. So
it's still affordable for younger people.
They can make it happen if they're willing to live in certain areas. Now, if you want to live in like LA or Laverne or Claremont, then the houses are expensive. There's not a lot of opportunities there. But just in Pomona, which is right down the street from Laverne, there's opportunities there. I mean, so you just got to be willing to live maybe somewhere that's not your most ideal spot at first, and then roll into the next one.
Yeah,
I got lucky in the first house I bought. I still got, because I bought it in a good area, but I waited a while to buy. So.
Yeah, sometimes a starter house is just a stepping stone, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah. So there is programs out there, like you mentioned earlier, right?
Down payment assistance. Yeah, there's a bunch of like state and county programs now that are available. We're seeing People getting 20% down as a repayable, non-repayable grant, but they do share in equity of your property if you ever sell it. There's down payment assistance where they'll loan you the money on top of the other money that you're borrowing. So there's ways for people to basically make it happen. It's just a matter of like finding the right balance and program.
Got it. So when does it make sense to rent versus actually buying?
I mean, you should buy anytime you can afford to buy. I mean, just straight up. If you're going to live in the property, and it's never a bad investment, Everyone always asks, is it a good time to buy? And it's like, well, is it a good time for you to buy? Like,
so it's never,
everyone's different, You got to decide, like, can you afford the payment? Do you have the money for the down payment? And are you comfortable to live where you can live? And if all those things line up, then it's a good time, But if you're like wanting to live in, in downtown Los Angeles and you have controlled rent for like $2,000 and like the houses there cost $1 million, like,
Yeah.
But then maybe you invest in real estate somewhere else. It's never a bad move, but there's times when it just isn't feasible to buy versus rent. So
Got it.
Depending on your situation.
What's the average rent now? I mean, here, let's say you just say IE.
I have no idea, man. I don't track that stuff too closely, but I would say probably $3,000 a month would be like for a house on the low side. I mean, then it goes up from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to go down? All right. Let's do let's work on some of the keywords.
Okay.
Equity.
Okay.
In simple terms, what does that mean?
It's the difference between what you owe and what the house is worth. That's the equity on a property. So if you owe $100,000 and your house is worth $200,000, you have $100,000 in equity. Yeah, and that's what you could roll into the next property or put in your pocket.
Okay, so is that a smart way to build wealth? Is through equity?
I think so. I mean, I've just seen people's houses go up so much and generate so much wealth that they couldn't get. I mean, I've seen people that make a combined income of $130,000 a year buy a house. And then, 8 years down the road, the house has gone up $250,000, and they're able to roll it in the next house. They never would be able to save that much money.
Right.
And the whole time they were getting a tax benefit of ownership. They weren't paying someone else's rent. I mean, when you look at like that, then it's a no-brainer.
Right. And you offer programs like that too to pull out equity and use it to other properties?
Yeah. You could access equity a couple different ways. You can sell. And then you get the equity that way, or you can get a mortgage to access it as well. And you can get a second mortgage on top of your first mortgage if you have one. So a lot of people have very low interest rates on their first mortgage. So we're seeing a lot of people tap into equity with a home equity line of credit, which is like
Is that with a HELOC they call it?
HELOC, yeah. So you'll see that. And the easiest way to kind of figure out what that is, it's almost like a big credit card. So when you have a credit card and you have a zero balance, you have zero payment. When you have a balance, you have a payment, right? A minimum payment. With a HELOC, it's the same way. You could have a $200,000 HELOC with a zero balance and the payment is zero. But if you borrow $50,000, then you have a payment based on $50,000. Now, if you pay the $50,000 to $25,000, you have a payment based on $25,000. And that's the difference between a line of credit versus a mortgage. A mortgage you get and you have a monthly payment till it's paid off. It's the same payment, right? Unless you refinance. A line of credit will change depending on what the balance is.
And you offer that too?
Yeah, we do those. We do a lot of those.
What's one thing that you've seen people do stupid mistakes with their equity?
It seemed stupid at the time. I saw someone, and it ended up being smart. They pulled all the equity out of their house and they bought Bitcoin. Oh. And that was when Bitcoin was more expensive, and then it dropped, and I was like, man, that was stupid. And then now Bitcoin's like crazy high, so now I'm looking at that and being like, well, that was a good move. But I mean, I think just like, paying off debt and then recharging the debt up. Is a big thing. So accessing the equity, paying the debt off, and then before you know it, they're coming back to try and refinance again to get more equity to pay off more debt because they charge the cards up, again. So
yeah, that's like the lottery mentality, right?
Yeah, you feel like you got a raise, but you just got a loan, or something. Yeah. I mean, I was guilty of that back in the day, but
Well, I went to a conference earlier in Corona, and they talked about there's a housing shortage. But I've seen, driving around, I see houses being built. So it doesn't make sense to me. Like, can you elaborate on that?
I think the population's growing so fast that just the amount of houses that eventually will be needed is behind schedule. So I think it's more of a forecast. And And that, remember I was talking about how the values of houses are going up because there's not as many of them
Yeah.
for sale in some areas. And that's where the shortage kind of comes in as well, you know? So if there's more houses for sale, in certain areas, the prices wouldn't go up as much. So
Got it.
but I think it's just that forecasting that there's going to be a certain amount of people that are this age now that can't buy a house, that eventually will need to buy a house when they get older, and there won't be enough houses for them.
Got it.
You know, so I think that's where the housing shortage things comes in.
Okay. Do you deal with like construction loans?
Yeah, we do some construction loan stuff, renovation loans, ground up construction. So basically, ground up construction is like you're going to be you can finance the land and you could basically finance the build.
Oh, you can.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's easier just to finance the build if you already own the land because land makes it a little bit more difficult. But and then there's also renovation, which means a house is already there, and then you're going to renovate it, so you're borrowing to fix it up or do certain things to it.
What about ADUs? Like, can you get a loan to build the ADU in your
Yeah, see, it's a sticky subject. You can, for sure. You have to have the equity already. There's like one loan program that we offer that focuses on the future value after the ADU is built.
Right.
The valuing of homes with ADUs is difficult because it's all based, values of properties are based by comparable sales. And comparable sales means that an ADU, a property that's similar to yours has to have had an ADU, and then that property sells, and the difference between what that property would have sold for without the ADU or with the ADU is what it's worth. So you could pay $150,000 to build an ADU. That doesn't mean you're going to get $150,000 from the sale of your house.
Oh.
Right? It has to be warranted by other properties that have sold that had an ADU.
Got it.
So just like when this big thing was with pools, like, you know, pools aren't cheap to put in most of the time. I mean, it's like, it could be $100,000 or $70,000 or whatever. Like in a lot of areas, you get about $30,000 or $40,000 more for your house with a pool. So it's like, it's not a lot. And that varies, and don't quote me on that, you know, exactly for everywhere, but there's an adjustment that is made based on what other houses with pools have sold for.
Yeah.
So.
And people go crazy with those pools.
Yeah, and so ADUs kind of fall into the same boat at this point. There may be a time when it's a little different, and they are shifting, trying to shift. But right now, it's like it really depended on other properties that have sold in the area. So if you put an ADU in and there's been no ADU sales in your area, then it's going to be valued less than if there was multiple sales where the houses sold for more that had ADUs.
Because now you can actually sell them separate, right? That's
they passed that rule where basically you can create your own. What's happening with that is you're creating your own little mini HOA. And then just like the difference between a single family and a condo is that a single family home, you own the land, all of it, 100% of it is your land.
Right.
Condominium, let's say there's 100 of them, right? Then you own 1/100th of the land as a whole. You don't own any specific piece of land. Like on a single family, you own the land that's right below your house. So condo, you own a percentage of the land. So the same thing is going to apply to these properties when, let's say, they build 4 units on what used to be a single family home. Then you're going to own 1/4 of the land in general, but not any specific part. And then basically you could sell that as like a little mini HOA. Like you'll have your own little HOA, homeowners association, that's basically tied to those 4 properties, and you can basically sell off one of those homes. And that's a big thing that I have some friends that are getting into that. It's going to make a big difference for a lot of people because the houses are pretty affordable.
Yeah.
You're buying a place in Los Angeles area, adjacent area, for $400,000. That's a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath spot where you couldn't do that before. So
right on.
Yeah.
What's any last words that you want to say?
I would say like change your life for the better. You know, get after it every day. Get out there. Be the best person you can be. Push your limits as much as humanly possible. You know, make sure you make time for yourself. Make sure you make time for your family, and you know, your life will be better for it. And the biggest change in my life that's been positive is stopping doing any kind of drinking or drugs, and that's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. So if you're thinking about doing that, do it.
Yeah.
Like, you won't regret it.
Yeah. And then you mentioned some books, right? Atomic Habits. What's some other ones that you recommend?
Wealthy and Well Known is one that I'm reading right now that I really enjoy. That's all about personal branding. It's written by AJ and Rory Vaden. Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden is a great one. Talks all about, you know, taking the hard route. You know, take the stairs instead of the elevator. Connected to Goodness, David Meltzer. That's a great book. All about like, kind of his story through life, but then also like how, thinking positive and has helped him. So those are some good ones that I probably would check out. So
Are you able to name drop some of your coaches or?
I don't like have any big name coaches or anything like that. I mean, I've gone to a lot of events and stuff like that. I mean, Bedros, I'm in the Legacy Tribe, but I don't like directly coach with him. But I do have an opportunity to hear him talk once a week.
Okay.
And
That's like an online thing, right?
yeah, it's Legacy Tribes online, and they have some in-person stuff. And but I don't have any like famous coaches or anything, But yeah.
And then you've gone to some conferences, some personal development.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just like everything I've always done. The Inland Empire Mastermind Group, that's been a powerful thing for me. That's changed my life in a big way. But anytime you can go to a conference and learn, I mean, you got to take it serious though.
Yeah.
So many years people go to these things and they go drink and they mess around and they don't pay attention and you don't get anything out of it. But, yeah, I would say anything you can go to where you can learn, just take it serious, and that's going to be a game changer for you.
Right on. Where can people find you?
Mortgage Manfro on Instagram, mortgage #Manfro. And my website's the same. But, yeah, I do a lot of posting on Instagram and stuff, and so I'd love to connect with all you guys out there.
Yeah, go follow him. This guy's good. He has a lot of stories and a lot of positive things on his stories.
Thanks, brother.
Cool, man. Well,
proud of you, dude.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for being here. And thanks for being my guest. It was fun. I think we hit a lot of the golden nuggets that people are gonna get. We'll get some reels and shoot it out to the world.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, brother.
Thanks for tuning in to Hands, Heart, and Hustle. If this conversation with Tim Manfro spoke to you, take a moment to reflect, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep your hands working, your heart aligned, and your hustle growing with purpose.
The greatest gift that I got is grit. Resilient, I don't know how to quit.